You are listening to Pharmacy, IT, and Me, your informatics pharmacist podcast. Alright, welcome to another episode of Pharmacy, IT, and Me. And as with every episode, we start off this one stating that the intended audience for this episode are newcomers to pharmacy informatics. So today's topic isn't technically pharmacy informatics specific, but it will touch upon pharmacy because it is related to medications. So today we'll actually be talking about the Electronic Medication Administration Record, or eMAR for short. So what is an eMAR? Let's back up and talk about a MAR before we start talking about eMARs. So a MAR, or MAR, is a Medication Administration Record, and it's a location in the patient's chart where the nurses record when a medication is given and what dose and who it's given to, like basically to which patient. And in hospitals that do not use electronic health records, they would have basically a binder for each patient that is seen. And in the binder, this is basically the patient's chart. There are different sections for orders, labs, progress notes, and others. So the MAR is one portion of that chart. So when a nurse needs to give a medication, they find the binder, they open the chart to this section, and they refer to the MAR to document when they gave the medication to the patient. Now an eMAR, eMAR, is basically an electronic version of that. So E stands for electronic. So systems that use electronic health records, they typically have a patient's chart as a tabbed window. So there's multiple tabs everywhere. So each tab of the window refers to a different section in that patient's chart. So an eMAR would be one of these tabs. When a nurse administers a medication to a patient, they would navigate and find this tab to review and document the medication onto this eMAR. So why would you use an eMAR over an MAR? So first of all, if a health system is already using an electronic health record, you might as well use an eMAR with it. Typically, electronic health record systems are enterprise solutions, and they include an eMAR as part of that package. However, there are additional reasons why you might want to consider using an eMAR over a paper MAR. So one thing is that it's a lot faster to administer and document medications onto an eMAR than it is a paper MAR. So paper MARs are fraught with messy writing at times, and they are also a little hard to follow depending on how many medications there are. And medications change all the time, and it's also sometimes hard to find as well because you can find this binder, and wherever this binder is, then you gotta find the MAR. Having it all in one place in an electronic section on a chart will actually allow ease of viewing and documenting. So when this is coupled with barcoded medication administration, it's even easier. The nurse can navigate to the patient's MAR on an electronic record and scan a wristband and then scan the medication. And the eMAR would pre-populate the information of that medication into that charting screen before the nurse confirms that they've given this medication. So electronic documentation is also real time. So when a pharmacy updates an order or they update the information on that order, it also gets updated into the eMAR right away. Or if a physician goes into the order and they modify it, it also changes that order right away on the eMAR. And in addition, since it's real time, nurses and physicians can also see immediately whether a medication is late or not in its administration time. Also, since the eMAR is electronic, then it also allows the provider who's not on site to actually log in and view the eMAR, since it's not locally located on a piece of paper lying somewhere. So the electronic nature allows it to be accessed anywhere with the proper security channels. eMARs also have additional assessment options that are visible when charting of the medication, such as, blood pressure for antihypertensive medications or blood glucose for insulin orders. Like for example, if a nurse was to chart an insulin medication, on the charting element, it may ask the nurse to chart the blood glucose that the patient is currently experiencing. And in this way, it kind of puts that information up front in the eMAR, so it's in one visible spot so that it's easy to look for later. Additionally, when there's a modification to an existing medication, an eMAR can be flagged with an icon on that specific order so that the viewer of the eMAR is passively informed that this modification has occurred. And also, since modifications can occur on existing orders rather than starting new ones, an eMAR allows the user to see the full history of a particular order on one line entry instead of multiple lines. So what does this have to do with pharmacy informatics? The eMAR is a tool that displays medication orders and medication administrations, and therefore it needs to integrate with the electronic health records pharmacy system. A pharmacy informaticist may need to consider how a medication build is going to affect the way that it displays itself on the MAR. For example, if you want to have comments in the orders, they should be placed in the right field box so that it displays up front in the eMAR rather than on a box that would require the nurse to click through multiple windows and options to actually see it. And sometimes when a nurse is unable to chart on a medication, it may be due to an issue on nursing informatics build, but at other times, it can be caused by an incomplete build on the pharmacy end. So part of being a pharmacy informaticist might be to troubleshoot where in the process the medication builds are broken. And alerts are another thing that can be built into the eMAR so that certain medications that require a nurse to review additional content would have a pop-up alert reminding them to do so. And this alert may be built by a pharmacy informaticist. So hopefully by now you got some better insight into what an eMAR is and what the role of a pharmacy informatics professional is in the medication build and troubleshooting side. For the most part, the eMAR should be configured by the nursing informatics team in regards to nursing workflow, but it does cross over to pharmacy informatics once in a while due to the nature of it touching on medications and medication documentation. Alright, if you guys like this episode, you guys can subscribe and rate us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or any of your other favorite podcasting services. You can also follow us on social media on Twitter or Facebook at PharmacyITme, or our Instagram at Pharmacy Informatics, or you can email me at tony@pharmacyitme.com. Also, I wanted to plug a great networking opportunity called Pharmacist Connect. If you guys are familiar with Slack workspaces, Pharmacist Connect is a vetted one in which you actually have to have a pharmacist license or pharmacy intern license to be approved to be in it. And I've actually met a lot of great colleagues on there, and there's even special channels on there, one that actually is about informatics. So you can find out more by visiting pharmacistconnect.com, which is PHARMACISTSCONNECT.com. Thank you again for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode of Pharmacy IT and Me. And remember, technology is a tool, patient care is the goal.